We are here looking for redcoats around every corner. Here at Meriam's Corner in Concord, Massachusetts, where on April 19th, 1775, American Minutemen arrived at this very spot to confront the retreating British column out of Concord on the first day of the American Revolution. American militia companies marched up this very road and caught sight of the British column marching east toward Boston after having just withdrawn from the town of Concord, where they had burnt all of the military supplies that they had found and engaged in the fight at the North Bridge, leaving 2 American militiamen dead and more wounded. Major John Brooks of Reading had just arrived on the scene when they saw the British column retreating down the road. He ordered his men to take cover behind these buildings that stood on the property of Nathan and Abigail Meriam. And then he ordered his men to advance. I just realized it's not 1775 anymore. We're about 248 years too late. But so what? When does a little thing like the passage of centuries ever come between us and the events of the American Revolution? The answer is, it doesn't. So buckle your seatbelts, everyone, and make sure your adventure pants are firmly fastened, because today we are off again on another historical action adventure. As the British troops withdrew from Concord and marched east down this very road, they probably anticipated a very calm and uneventful march back to Boston. But getting back to Boston would prove to be not so easy. Here at Meriam's Corner, the arrival of local militia companies turned the British withdrawal from Concord into the iconic running battle of April 19th, 1775, the battles of Lexington and Concord, day 1 of the American Revolution. Welcome to where Battle Road begins. Hi everybody, it's me, Katie. Welcome back to my channel where it is all Revolutionary War all the time. If you've been here before, then welcome back. I am so happy to have you with me again. And if it's your first time here, then welcome. My name is Katie and I am a Revolutionary War researcher, writer, and speaker based in the Boston area. And this channel is intended to be a fun and friendly place where I share my research. You will find that this channel is not for the faint of heart. Is what historical action adventuring is really all about, because I grabbed the camera and I'm heading up to the tallest point, the big thorn bush. On this channel, we venture out on historical action adventures. We visit battlefields, burying grounds, bridges, and ridges. So I just want to see, if we looked through these woods, if we could see the ridge. And all sorts of places in between where events of the American Revolution happened. So if that sounds like fun to you, then I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel so that you can come along on our next adventure. So a really awesome fun fact about this area is that the layout of these roads are the same now as they were in 1775. This is the Lexington Road running east and west. It's how the British came and went to and from Concord. And this here is the Old Bedford Road, which is the direction from which some of the local militia companies arrived from the towns to the north. This is the Mill Brook, and it was here in 1775. And as you can see, there's this little modern bridge that spans it now. But there was also a bridge here in 1775, and that bridge was part of the roadway that the British were marching upon that they had to cross. One of the very first companies to arrive on the spot was from the town of Reading, Massachusetts, and they were under the command of 22-year-old Major John Brooks. And there may have been militia companies from other towns as well in this immediate vicinity. The Reading Company was traveling from the north and marching south down the Old Bedford Road, approaching Meriam's Corner, when they caught sight of the British column moving eastward through the Lexington Road and some light infantry troops descending off a ridge and joining the main body of troops in the road headed to Boston. Okay, I've grabbed the camera and I've crossed the street because I just want to see if we can see something. When the British left Concord, the main body of troops formed in the street and traveled down the road headed out to Meriam's Corner. The light infantry formed a flank guard, and they actually ran parallel to the main body of troops, but up on some high ground, up on a ridge. And the ridge ends at Meriam's Corner, and that is where the militia first caught sight of the British when the light infantry troops stepped down, descended off the ridge to join the main body of troops as they arrived near the bridge to cross it. So I just want to see if we looked through these woods, if we could see the ridge. Okay, so you can see it. Now this is the ridge, and if you can see, the land is just sloping up. I'm terrified to do this, and I wasn't going to do it, but there's no way I can stand at the base of this ridge where the light infantry descended on April 19th, 1775, attracting the notice of the American militia, and not walk up myself. Here goes. I'll film myself the whole way, and then I'll take pictures more when I'm up there. Oh, God. I'm doing it, and I'm afraid. I'm grasping onto trees. Okay. Okay. I'm going to show you pictures now that we're up here. Ooh, here we go. This is absolutely off the charts, amazing. The land goes all the way up there. I hope you can see it. And then down. I have to admit, I'm absolutely shaking like a leaf, but this is what historical action adventure is all about. Thank you all so much for joining me. It means the world for you to be here on this adventure with me. I couldn't do it without you. So this must have been the approximate location where the light infantry descended down from the ridge and joined the main body of troops on the Lexington Road and continued east to the bridge. And I'm just going to break in here for a moment and say, I hope you'll consider clicking the like button on this video and subscribing to this channel. Liking and subscribing helps tell YouTube that you are interested in more Revolutionary War content and that there's an audience for Revolutionary War videos. And it also helps me grow my channel and share my research with more people who are as passionate about revolutionary history as we are. It is time to get out of here. Here I go. So that ridge that starts out in Concord Center travels east, but ends at Meriam's Corner. And the British light infantry troops, who were serving as a flank guard on top of that ridge, had to descend and join the main body of British troops in the road in order to cross the bridge at the Millbrook. And it was then, as the rear of the British column was narrowing and funneling itself across the bridge, that the militia decided to act. Seeing the British column slowing as it crossed the bridge, Major Brooks ordered his men, who had all taken cover behind the houses and barns here on this very spot, to advance and fire. We don't really know how many British soldiers were killed here at Meriam's Corner. Those that were probably buried somewhere near here. Reverend Edmund Foster, who had been marching with the Reading Company on April 19th, remembered that 2 British soldiers were shot and killed at the Millbrook. But then someone we've met before in one of our earlier action-adventure videos, To the North Bridge, comes upon the scene. If you remember the Concord Minuteman, Amos Barrett. Crossing over from the American side of the bridge, some of the militiamen are in hot pursuit of the retreating British. And one of the militiamen who pursued the British was a Concord Minuteman named Amos Barrett. And years later, he remembered as they came over the bridge that he saw 8 to 10 wounded British troops, a running and a hobbling, and looking back over their shoulder to see if the militia was after them. And when Amos Barrett arrived at Meriam's Corner, seemingly a short time after the militia fired upon the British, he claimed that on this spot a great many lay dead and the road was bloody. And another person who we met in that Northbridge video also makes an appearance at Meriam's, and that is British Ensign Jeremy Lister. One of the British at the bridge, Ensign Jeremy Lister, summed up what happened by saying, "The weight of their fire was such that we were obliged to give way and then run with the greatest precipitance." Jeremy Lister actually gets shot at Meriam's Corner. A musket ball shatters the elbow of his right arm. And his recovery from that, which he writes about, was absolutely brutal. He was horribly sick, in bed for months. And he said that on a couple different occasions, surgeons had to lay open the flesh of his elbow, exposing the bone. And that even months after the injury, surgeons were removing chunks of bone, in his words, as big as hazelnuts. To know more about exactly what happened before these two forces met on a collision course with destiny here at Meriam's Corner, check out this video that I did on minute by minute at the North Bridge earlier that day. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.